We are live and welcome to the Seven City Shoptalk Sports Show, broadcasting live to you from the beautiful state of Virginia to all over the world. So, hey, we are back. It's been a little bit, we've done some halftime shows and we've done a little bit of uh, some quick shows, but now we're back tonight here with you to do a full show, similar to what you guys used to seeing from us. But before we get started, we want to thank you for joining us in another episode of our brand of dysfunctional camaraderie. And as of now, this shop is open. I am your host, Big Law. One of my co-hosts here with me, Seawood in the building. How you doing, Seawood?
Hey, Law. Doing good, man. A lot to talk about.
Yeah, we do. We have a lot to talk about. We haven't really been able to just settle down and really talk about the state of Virginia sports, in particular football, some basketball, and just whatever the hell else is going on. During this time of year, um, it's you know it's definitely UVA is going through some stuff right now. There's going to be a I don't want to call it a mass exodus, but there's definitely a line going out the door based off of what we got going on. But before I get too much more into it, how has your week been and what's been going on?
Doing well, man. Back from Thanksgiving, back at it. Got a couple more days, about another week, then we'll take some more time off. But yeah, like you said, we got a lot going on. I don't even know where to start. Maybe the big gift at football, maybe the transfer portal. Who knows?
Yeah, yeah. Let's go ahead and start with that. That's right. That's something that wasn't on the docket, but we definitely can start with that. So, what Wood is talking about, or he reiterated too, was that the University of Virginia got a large, an absolutely large sum of money from an anonymous source, and it's some people when somebody says anonymous source, he goes, "Yeah, right." They just don't want to be known. The news on this is it was truly wired into a UVA account, and it had no attachment to anybody. So it was truly wired anonymously. Nobody knows where this money came from, but it was strictly wired into the football account, which to me, you know, number one, lets me know that somebody's paying attention. Somebody's always paying attention. We do our shows, and when we get based off of who we are, we get a decent amount of little views on our show, but some of the people that speak to me when I'm out in the public and when I'm at a game, you'd be surprised at how many people actually speak about to me about what we're talking about, what we have going on, and really want to hear our opinions on certain things. But Wood is right, man. Somebody gave a large sum of money. Now, on record, the largest sum that was given to the football program was $20 million, I believe. And they said that the amount was larger than that. So that alone kind of puts us in a position. If you saw the stat that's been going around on the web and in some of the chat rooms, it shows that UVA is a top 15 team when it comes to NIL money as well. So and that had nothing to do with the money that came for football. So let me get with you, Wood. Let me get your opinion on this money that had came in for the university and your opinion on it.
No, I mean it certainly doesn't hurt. Um, you still look at the academic aspect of it. Um, Obviously, that'll help with maybe that borderline player that has the academics, but has great offers from other teams. Obviously, that may boost them over the edge. And I think it was on 29 today. They had an interview. Obviously, it wasn't with the actual name, but the anonymous person was talking about the '90s and why they donated. And they were talking about the full stadium. And can you imagine a playoff game at Scott Stadium and boosting the food and beverage in the town itself? They were just obviously they didn't give a give their name, but they were talking about how it helps the city of Charlottesville and surrounding areas, not only football, but again, he went back to the '90s with Al Groh, and even before that, he went back to George Welsh. We were undefeated in Georgia Tech, but I say he, I don't know if he or she, they really didn't specify, but they were talking about how it helps the whole area in general. So if you have that, again, like Poindexter said, you still have that side of academics. I don't know how much we're going to move off of that, if we ever will, or if we ever will. If so, how much? But if you have that person that has that part checked off, but you have, you know, monetary offers from other places, that certainly can bring some players in. Uh, I won't speculate on Chandler Morris, but he had some great offers. But yeah, if you have that person that's got the grades, and we actually have the money to compete with those guys now, so it's interesting. I don't know how much it was used or will be used, but it certainly doesn't hurt what we got going on.
Well, you figure, I mean, if it's over $20 million, I wonder how much it is. Let's just say it's, roughly $25 million. You put that together with what the program already had at its arsenal to get folks or get young men in to the program. I mean, you're probably somewhere in the realm of over $30 million. Well, it's probably more than over. Yeah, it's over 30 million, because that other number, that $14 million number, that had us in the top 15 of NIL, money that the university has put out. You know, the the whole thing with the standards, the grades and the admissions and all that. Some people call it a hoax, but I don't call it a hoax. One of the guys in the media here, he had wrote an article, and he talked about how Virginia pretty much is like, trying to bring in players, and it's not about the young players, because they're coming in clean, straight, or whatever, but it's like trying to bring in players from other schools and making sure that the transfers, making sure that the credits match up, and make sure that. Go ahead, Wood. Go ahead, you got it.
No, I was saying 100%. I was listening to Tony Elliott, I don't know, a while back. He was saying how, that's why they go so many grad transfers and everything, because there's something with UVA and the credits, and they're losing so many credits when they transfer in. So that's more so what I'm talking about, rather than just lowering academic standards as far as that goes. Just that part of it, when you want transfers to come undergrad, is anything going to change there, where they're losing X amount of credits to come here? Why would they come here, if they can go somewhere else and keep their same amount of credits, if the football is same level or somewhat below average?
It's almost like you're losing a year, so it's like you'll be a student for an extra year, but you won't be able to play. You know what I mean? So it doesn't match up. It has to match. No, and a lot of these guys are some of them come for academics, but some of them come because they really want to play for the University of Virginia, even though things haven't been great for us. But obviously there is an audience out there of young men who want to come and play for the university. Now that we kind of got the NIL, or excuse me, the money that was donated, the anonymous donation, out of the way, let's get into like the state of the football program, man. This is a situation where it's not good. Let's just call it what it is. It's not nice. It's damn downright scary, in my opinion, at this point. No one, it's almost like a rudderless ship, in my opinion. Just from the outside looking in, and we're just grasping for players in the air, just trying to get what we can to come on the roster. Now, I guess there is a plan somewhat in place from the coaches. They went out and got, 2 signal callers, which is what you need to start to put something in place. And I don't think they're slouches. If we looked at the quarterback room the beginning of the year, and look at the quarterback room now, I don't know if we're in a worse position. So let's go ahead and start with the state of the football program. Let's do this roundtable discussion. So, Wood, come on in with your infinite wisdom as we talk about your realistic infinite wisdom of University of Virginia sports. Let's talk to him, Wood. So the quarterback situation, you typically want to start there. Whenever teams are drafting or new franchises starting, They always draft the quarterback first, you know. So AB's here too as well. Let me go ahead and get her in, and I want to get your opinion. Hey AB, how are you doing? Thanks for coming in.
Hey,
We're
y'all.
actually hey now. We just started on the. This is AB. She's one of the co-hosts here as well. We just started in on the state of UVA football. So Wood, let's go ahead and get into it. They got a quarterback. Kind of give me an idea how you feel about the quarterback position. Were we better, in your opinion, then or now?
AB better late than never. Um, I don't know. I think just like almost every position you can look at, it's kind of like who knows what we have. To be honest, I mean, I'm Chandler Morris kid. Obviously, he's highly talented. I think he finished the country in fourth in passing yards, and uh,
Mm-hmm.
from a small school. But if you look at his offers, he had some great offers. Oklahoma State. I won't go through the whole list, but I was excited when we landed him. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I, to be honest, I don't know how to answer that question. If we're better off now than we were, I mean, what did we have before? You know, I mean, we won 5 games. We were flopping quarterbacks, Colandrea for the most part.
Well, do you think that Colandrea and Musket are better than Morris and um, the kid from Nebraska, who is a 4-star
I
by
don't know.
some and a 3-star by
I haven't
some?
watched enough of Morris and them to be able to answer that, but they can't be worse.
Oh well, sure they can be worse. But you're talking, for me. Well, go ahead, go ahead. You go ahead, Wood. Keep
No,
going. I want to hear what you have to say.
no, just saying I haven't seen enough of these new quarterbacks, but obviously Morris was highly recruited, and if you look at his offer list, it's not East Middle Tennessee State and stuff like we're accustomed to. But again, like we were talking earlier, Law, it really doesn't matter, to be honest, if we have nobody to block for him. We lost a decent lineman, whether you like him or not, but we got to build that. We lost our best receiver, Malachi. He's
Mm-hmm.
leaving. It's just so
Mm-hmm.
much in the air right now to say what we have, what we don't have, and I'm not one to trust the process, especially here what's going on. But I'm excited about Morris. I will tell you that. Just some tapes I've watched, but of course they put
Mm-hmm.
highlights on tapes. They don't put the bad moments on tapes. Um, Again, Colandrea left, but I wasn't high on Colandrea. People act like we lost Joe Montana. I'd never figured that out. But to be honest, it's too unclear right now to see what we have at any position really. Now that we lost our receiver, Jonas is going to the draft. There goes your safeties. Defensive line is questionable. Offensive line is definitely questionable, and you don't know what you got at quarterback. But it's just too many moving parts right now for me to answer that. But I'm excited about seeing Morris play. I will tell you that.
Yeah, I'm looking for a kid. From what I understand, he has a live arm. Uh, and being able to throw for that many yards. At North Texas, and then of course the young man that he picked up from Nebraska was one of the elite quarterbacks coming out his freshman year. Excuse me, his senior year, going into his freshman year, senior high school, freshman year in college. And he just pretty much got uh, railroaded at the end there when Raiola came in and pretty much took it over. And of course, Raiola, that there's a connection there for him as well. So let me get your opinion, AB. I know you're a little opinionated about the quarterbacks as well. Um, Talk to me. Woody, how do you feel right now? Just starting with the quarterback position. Do you think we're possibly in a better spot as we sit right now than we were with the other quarterbacks?
No, because it's so hard to be excited about. Okay, great, we did well on the portal. We got some talent. When you turn around and lose the talent that you have, so it's like you gain one, but you lose two. It's like it's like what. And not, I just threw the number out there, but it's like we don't know who else. We could be losing anybody. And, talking about Malachi, I mean, that's a hit to us on offense. When I'm sitting here thinking, oh, it's great. We got a great quarterback potentially coming in with some really good threats. And then he's leaving. It's like, it's hard to be excited about something when you're gaining, but you're losing. And The only thing is that it makes it hard to be exciting about where we are is because we truly don't know if this quarterback is going to fit in the system that we have. We could be worse, we could be better, we could be about the same. We just really don't know. And at the end of the day, what does the talent matter when your coaches haven't changed either? Because a lot of the struggles that we saw this year were some of the coaching on offense that was the problem. We didn't make really good decisions. We still had an O-line that was banged up and wasn't as talented. So where do we stand? I don't know.
That's a very true statement you made there. On the surface, I'll chime in with this. On the surface, to me, it seems like Morris. If you put all the quarterbacks that were on the team last year, and all the quarterbacks are on the team this year, so that's like 5 guys, right? You got Grady, House. You got Colandrea. You got Musket. Let's say we put in uh, give me 1 second. Daniel Kaleen. That's the Kaleen. That's the kid from Nebraska, and we put in the Morris kid, Chandler Morris. I think Chandler Morris is probably the best quarterback. He has the most credentials, in my opinion, out of all of the quarterbacks. If we had to rank all the quarterbacks. So, we had all 5 of those quarterbacks, and let's rank them. In my opinion, I think just from the surface, just looking at numbers, looking at some film, looking at where he came from and how they ran it, and looking at his arm talent, and looks like he has a processing that to me looks like he can get the ball out, a little quicker than some of our other guys, but and he's bigger and he can see. But I think Morris is probably the number 1 guy. Number 2, you can flip flop this. It goes Colandrea and Musket, based on what camp you're in. But let's just say it's Colandrea number 2, number 3 is Musket, and number 4 is Kaleen, Daniel Kaleen, the kid from in my opinion, because I think he has the big kid, 6'3", 220. Was an elite camp kid coming out, going to Nebraska, and then I'll put of course House and all the other guys behind all them guys. So it's a short-term rental, which a lot of people don't really like that, but we're not in a position to be picky about somebody who comes and actually wants to be there. And that's a position we don't want to be in. You never want to be in where you almost got to, sure, we're happy with what we get, but that was a Hail Mary that was answered. He was one of the top quarterbacks, in the portal that had a lot of buzz, like Wood was saying. I know Oklahoma was looking at him, like he said. I want to say Florida State may have had him on their list as well, which Florida State got Castellanos from Boston College as well. But in Anthony Colandrea, God bless him, and we hope he, lands softly. I don't know where he's going to go. I know he's headed towards Ole Miss, or he's interviewing with Ole Miss. And we'll see how that goes. But you see, that is my ranking off at all, Wood, from your opinion?
No, I mean, no, I don't really think so. I think maybe 3 and 4 you could swap with Musket and then kid from Nebraska, but I really don't know because I haven't seen enough film on Nebraska. But he has 4 years left, right?
At least 3.
So I mean,
at least 3.
He wouldn't be a short term rental if we can get him up to speed. But like she said, it basically comes down to how are we going to use him with Des Kitchens. I didn't think there's any way he'd be back, but he is obviously. So like she said, we'll see how Des Kitchens uses him because he hasn't been successful so far here or Atlanta Falcons. So we'll see.
Shout out to my folks in the chat room. My man Wesley Conco in the building. Thank you for tuning in, brother. And also My man James Watson in the building. Look at that message he put out there. He said he was watching Jerry Ratcliffe, who's a friend of mine, great guy, on the Jerry Miller show, and he said that Colandrea was being paid $800 million in NIL money. Now, was that from UVA or is that what he's being offered? Please clarify that for me. Good gracious.
Yeah, what fool paid that?
I mean, Wood, I just want you to give me your opinion on that, man. Ooh.
I just gave it to you. What fool's gonna pay $800,000 to win a 5 game?
Fool? I mean, I'm sorry, 800,000. That's $800,000. So was that so he just got paid that from UVA, or is that what they're looking or what he's looking to get paid? $800,000. How do you feel? Do you think that's you see that, AB?
I'm sitting here thinking about how many years I'd have to work to make that. And I would have to work hard.
Oh yeah.
I know LSU actually offered a good player that's in the NFL right now $500,000. He's actually a good player. So who the hell would offer $800 for this guy?
But I mean, but Chad, you have to admit that like AC really wasn't that bad if we really honestly had a better line and we had better coaches who could. The issue is I just don't think we had the coaches to get him where he needed to be. I mean, our coaches aren't even where they needed to be. So how do we expect to get a young, talented guy to the level that we need him to get to perform?
No, I'm not totally blaming him, and you're exactly right. He tried to overcompensate the lack of the line and the lack of the coaching, and that's where he made most of his mistakes. I think potentially where he goes, he could be a good fit anywhere and a lot of places. But
that's true.
I don't know if he's worth $800,000. But again, we had a bad line, we have bad coaching, so he tried to do too much in situations, and that's where he ran into mistakes. But the athletic ability, I mean, obviously that's there. Anybody can see that. But like you said, he tried to overcome our lack of line and our lack of running game and our lack of coaching, to be honest. And that's why he threw so many picks. He was trying to do too much because he had to.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen the true good and best of him and the worst of him as well. When he has had time, he does have the confidence. He will, he's not afraid to throw the ball in there, man. Oh, look at him. Look at James. Put the link in there and everything. Put the link in there and everything. Okay. All right. We'll have to 31-minute mark. We'll have to check that out, man, for sure. But yeah, I think Colandrea, I wonder what Ole Miss is speaking with him about and trying to get him to come to the school. Is he an SEC quarterback? I guess is the question. We'll find out. We'll find out. He has an affinity for Johnny football. Johnny Manziel. So you never know. It could be, a little guy like Johnny and with the moxie of, he does have some of that in his bloodstream. He's seen some of that when he was cooking at the University of Virginia, and he was playing well, but there's too many things that he had mistakes with. But so we kind of got the quarterback situation out of the way. We kind of spoke about that. Now let's talk about the line. We do need more linemen, we need guys in the trenches on both sides of the ball. And they have to be better than what we had. That's the hard part to overcome. Just not needing bodies. We need bodies that were better than what we had. Or at least bodies that were healthier than what we had to be more competitive.
We need some stronger guys, not so soft guys. I feel like some of our O-line were about as soft as a dang pillow.
Okay. I say we need better guys and yeah, maybe stronger. I think more athletic. I think we need more athletic guys. The way that this game is moved, I need my linemen to be able to run. We need to get guys out. They need to get out in space, more so as opposed to, we don't, the days of drive blocking and, that is hard to find nowadays. A lot of kids don't train that way anymore either. Everybody wants to be agile, quick, and sure you want to be strong, but the way the game is, it's almost like the big middle linebacker. You know what I mean? Would the big, strong, heavy middle linebacker in the middle? He's a dinosaur now. He almost can't even find somebody who's trying to emulate that style. But you're right, AB. The guys have to be stronger, but I think we need more athletic linemen, and they just on both sides of the ball. It's just hard to find an athletic 280 to 320-pound guy. Defensive line, offensive line wise, it's just difficult. So I guess, have you seen anything in the portal, AB, at all, or heard any news about any of the guys, anybody coming? Because I haven't really caught anything. I've seen a safety come through. I've seen a wide receiver. Look like he's getting ready to tee up from HBCU. Have you heard anything about a lineman? I haven't heard anything.
I haven't heard anything, but while we're on the topic of it, I was sitting here thinking the other day, we know that injuries are a part of the game, but we pay a lot of money for a strength and conditioning coach as well, who is supposed to be working with these guys year round. And I feel like an aspect of that we're kind of struggling in as well. I mean, our guys looked just beat up a lot of the games, and they couldn't finish. We couldn't finish strong. And I understand the defense, like defensive side, they were on the field a lot more, but doesn't some of that come along with the year-round preparation and strength and conditioning? Like that was something that was on my mind that I wanted to bring up today, because we just saw so much of the injuries and the exhaustion all throughout the game, every game this year.
I agree with that. You got a point. The injuries. One thing about UVA, especially for the past 15 years, we're usually only one deep. Those years we had like an Andrew Brown or a Quinn Blanding, Smoke, and all my guys. We had some pretty good starters, but once they kind of got hurt or they went down, or you know players couldn't stay on the field, our 2 and 3 deeps were we struggled with that, and that's where we would really get ourselves in a lot of trouble, because our 2 and 3 deeps just were not that. You figure teams that are powerhouses, they got those 2 and 3 deep rosters. You think Ohio State, Michigan, Alabama, Texas, they got speed and athletic and strong guys all throughout the roster. It's like 5 stars that are starters and 4 stars they're backing them up. That's kind of how it, they build a program up, and you kind of get that legacy thing rolling. If we could ever get that many kids that are football, I don't know, that are academically charged, and also are football, jocks or football heads, where they just really, want to contribute or build their own pageantry. UVA's a school where we just don't have a lot of pageantry, and if they came to UVA, and this may be part of a pitch to some of these kids, being that we don't have a lot, we got 1 10-win season to our name, in the existence of the football program. You figure if they, want to try to sell hey, you can build that, that I think, and if they wanted to believe that could go a long way. Whether or not we can pull it off is another story. So the trenches, and this goes the same thing for defense, the defensive line. Those guys, they're fighting their guts out, and we're trying to get them, to play multiple positions on the front line as well. But it all starts up front with, what is it? Coach Touche used to say, "Big men lead." When we actually had a pretty decent line, and he did a good job of bringing those guys along when we did win, the ACC. He did a great job of building up a line and align with some alignment culture there. You saw that, but and like I say, not saying that Coach Heffernan is doing a bad job. It's just that we just need more guys, like AB said, bigger, stronger, faster. So, wide receiver wise, Wood, you reiterated it. We lost Malachi Fields to the transfer portal today. Naby and I talked about that a little bit. I mean, for AB, for you, um, is Jared Wilson in our portal as well?
I don't think so. I didn't see that today.
Okay.
I could be wrong though.
Not yet.
Not yet, huh?
Right, not yet.
We are getting one of one of the tight ends back who was injured. Ennis, in
Mm-hmm.
stage Ennis is coming back, which that's a that's a big plus. You get a veteran tight end back, but there's a lot of work. This next few weeks is going to be interesting over this holiday period. Anything you guys want to say? Anything else about the offensive side of the ball?
No.
Nah, it's too many unknowns right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's too many what?
Unknowns.
It is actually a lot of unknowns. Now the defense losing Jonas Sanker. I don't know if Antonio Clary can come back. We may have lost him as well. And of course he was on his sixth year already, I believe. You're gonna have a stud linebacker. Pray to God he's there. Cam Robinson. We got a couple other guys. Bracy, some guys who have some talent at the linebacker position. You're losing Chico Bennett, and you're losing Cam, the other defensive end.
What's
So
the one guy that's leaving too? I didn't see an update on his Diata.
yeah, Diata's leaving, and Ben Smiley's leaving. That's two
Smiley's leaving too.
interior. Yeah,
Damn it.
yeah,
Who's
yeah.
staying?
That's the thing.
Is Jackson staying?
I didn't see him. I didn't see him in the portal. I'm actually gonna try to pull up. I'm gonna actually see if I can pull something up here. Because yeah, it's not trying to get everybody who's watching, listening in a sad mood, but we got to talk about these things.
It's called realism.
Yeah, and we we got we gotta we gotta pay attention to it right now. It's something that it's a real thing for us. Let's see here. But yeah, I feel like a lot of work needs to be done. Yeah, I'm trying to get it, guys. I'm sorry. But yeah, Malachi jumped in, so yeah, Malachi's out. The tracker. Here we go. Let's see what we got in the tracker. And of course, they want you to pay for everything. But and you know what I'll do is I'll get Jackie Franchuli. She is the top writer for 247 Sports. If I can get her on next week. I know Christmas is the 25th, which is next Wednesday. That's another thing. How do we want to do our shows? We'll talk about that as well over the holiday. But I'm excited just because we get to wipe the slate clean. But am I going to be excited about what I get coming up in the next year? And your position still stands the same way, AB. Correct? You are not going to. You plan on not attending.
And I'm not jumping ship, and I'm not gonna go support another team. I'm still gonna watch every single UVA game from home. But I think my biggest standpoint is,
Mm-hmm.
the economy is tough enough. Those coaches on the sidelines make a whole heck of a lot more money than I do a year. And I just can't see myself spending that kind of money when I know there's other responsibilities that I need to be taken care of to go watch them right now. And it's not because I don't want to watch the guys, it's that I just don't see it financially smart for me right now to spend that kind of money and be where we are. Now, and it's not to say like, oh, you're going back to support when they're winning again. I've been going to games for the last 23 years, 24 years. I just can't keep spending this money to go if we're not getting results. So right now, yes, I will not be going in hopes that they can get it together, but I just can't keep losing money when our coaches are losing games and making a crap ton of money.
Let me come to you, Wood. Tell me your opinion on that same subject.
AB, you going to cheer for West Virginia?
No, I'm not doing that dumb shit.
Nah. So my answer would be it would all depend on my son's football schedule. Always, whether they're under I can, but I
Oh, you
definitely.
broke up.
Can you hear me now?
There you go.
No,
There you
I
go.
said I can go if my son doesn't play football, whether we're undefeated or we don't win a game. But I definitely see the frustration from her. I see it all over the place from a lot of people are investing a lot of money, and you got guys like me that have been there for a long time. I don't donate a ton of money, but you got a lot of donors. You got some fans that you would never imagine not going to the games that are right now talking about what's in it for me and why am I still going to the game? Why am I donating X amount of dollars every year for this product? Why the hell do we care about football when Virginia doesn't care about football? And I definitely get it. But for me personally, I'll go to the games I can go to, but it all depends on my son's football schedule. But I definitely see it across the board. I'm sure you guys see it as well. You guys know loyal fans that are saying, why the hell am I going when they don't care?
Yeah, I mean, I'll be there because I'm part of the press, but renewing my season tickets, I believe I will. Um, I just gotta just see how it makes sense for me, you know. Um, but I have you know pulled back a little bit in my mind, of am I gonna just you know carte blanche, just give them my credit card and let them just go ahead and charge away for my season tickets. Um, Although, I do give them away, but it's still just the idea of, a couple games I had a hard time giving those tickets away, to be honest. Uh, and that I wasn't the only one. There's just the stadium is as empty as I've ever seen it from just from my vantage point, my view. Will the crowd come back? That's another crazy question.
I think
Some,
there I think there needs to be some stability. I mean, we're talking about the transfer portal too. I mean, there there's too many ups and downs with this team right now, and we've been in a down, and then we'll trend up, and then we'll go down again. Like, we have to minimize how much we drop in those valleys. If we can stay consistent, and at least be a 6-win team, for a couple years, I think you'll really start seeing the fans come back. But it's like, we go to a bowl, we the next season we come back, we win 3 games. Then we win 4 or 5 games. Then we go, like, it's too inconsistent, and we can't seem to find that consistent piece.
right.
And I think that's why you don't see fans wanting to return, because we're hopeful, we get on that peak, and then we just completely go all the way down in the valley. It's not fair to any of us. And like I said, I agree with you. It's been 20 years since I've been coming. This is the emptiest I've seen the stadium. It's been bad.
Yeah, and it feels awful. Sometimes you see those kids out there, and they have been a competitive team. I mean, there's a couple games that they were dogs, where they just dogged it and just didn't play well. But for the most part, this team really tried. They won 5 games total. Probably should have won 7, but most of the games, they either were in it or they won. It's only really 2 games that I can really think of that were like, no, it wasn't there from the start, and it didn't, and I didn't see any improvement coming with it. My man James says, let's see here. James says, have you guys heard any talk, any articles about billionaires who own professional teams knocking on the doors of college football teams and trying to buy into part ownership? The former Milwaukee Bucks ownership is doing this. I have not. That's very interesting. So that would mean somebody like I don't know. Name you could there's a lot of them. Name rich, super rich person that went to University of Virginia, and I guess they want to treat the college like almost like an ownership of a professional team or buy a piece of it. You know what? Now that I kind of think about that, that might be where some of this is going. How do you feel about that, AB? I, I could see a team like say, hey, I own 10% of the University of Virginia, and I paid into it. I could definitely see that. I don't know if
I
the
mean, I
university.
think it would be beneficial when coming to make decisions, because instead of, like, you're actually bought into it, so your opinion is valid and it's considered. So I feel like if we have people at a higher level that are buying into like college level sports, they're going to be able to push
Hmm,
that power of making decisions and making changes that need to happen at that university.
hmm. Let me come to you with that question. How do you feel about that? Maybe some billionaire owner wants to, how people, these owners own professional teams, and maybe wanting to try to buy a portion of UVA football. They bought like 15% of UVA football, and they put a lot of money into it, and all of a sudden now it's like the new, you know, Chick-fil-A building, by the owner who owns 15%, and all of a sudden now the facilities start getting upgraded, and you have more resources to help grow the program. I mean, I guess it's similar to the donors, but owners always want to, exercise their ownership. That's another thing as well. Let me give me an idea. Tell me what you think would.
Or maybe like Howie Long. No,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think business people are smart people. So if there's money to be made, I think it's not out of the realm of possibility. But I think that's opened a whole other can of worms when you're talking about college and all these
Yeah,
teams. You couldn't really do it
yeah.
with every team there is because that'd be too hard to follow. But definitely you could do it with the big brands, SEC, some ACC, Big Ten, what have you. But piggybacking on what you said, when you said prime example, what you said when you've been here all these years, and that's the emptiest you've seen your stadium. We win 5 games. We have a mass exodus of players exiting our football team, and we make no changes.
Mm.
How does it get back? I think as fans, as a general fan, I think the only power you have is to not buy tickets. And for me, a Cowboys fan, I mean, we're guilty of it. We suck, but what do they care when we continuously buy jerseys, tickets, merchandise? We watch them on TV, biggest brand in America. Why would they make changes when we continue to funnel money into their pockets? That's my only objection to what you said. Because we won 5 games. Yes, we improved, but hell, we only, that's not a high bar to improve off of that. Stadium is empty as it's ever been. Our season tickets next year will probably be in single digits, but yet we're just going to run it back. That's my only question. Why? What are we doing?
I agree. I agree. Um, my goodness. If we're gonna, and the emissions is something else. We talked about that and how that's an issue. Um, what? Ethan says, Chad, you will look good in blue and gold. Ethan, what are you talking about, dude? Is he talking about West Virginia? Is that what he's talking about now?
I don't know, but I wish he'd cut out the crap. But
Who's
listen,
Skylar?
That's his daughter.
He's logged in as his daughter.
no, he accidentally changed his. Was trying to make her an Instagram account. It ended up changing his name on his Facebook.
I would look good in blue and gold. What does that mean?
What he said earlier about West Virginia.
So, the biggest thing, like y'all are talking about, I'm going to piggyback off of that for a second. The crappy thing about it is, unless you're pouring a lot of money into the athletic department, our voice doesn't matter. Not buying season tickets is our only voice because we're the ones that end up buying them and showing. We actually show up. We show up and but nobody hears us. So not buying them and not showing up is the only way to get our point across. And that's the really sad part about it, is because I've never gone specifically just to support a coaching staff. I've gone to support the guys who play on the field every game. And I feel like not going like is letting them down. But at what point do I have to just say enough is enough? And unfortunately, that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Enough is enough. And I mean, will there be a change? Anything else? Will there be an influx of talent from out of nowhere? Will this NIL money help this program? Will it save it from pretty much being a last place team? Remember they predicted us to be second to last or last year. Maybe they were a year off, we could we might be that team that is could be last place coming up this year. But this is interesting. So, we're going to talk about it. We got, a few more weeks. Let's see what happens coming into spring semester, see who makes it, see what the spring football game looks like. It's going to be crazy because they got to bring in a lot of linemen so that you don't have guys playing both ways, or guys playing for first team and second team like we did last year. We have some guys playing quarterback for Colandrea and Musket because we just didn't have enough offensive linemen because we had injuries and all that. But we just need more big bodies out there. So whoever gave that money, they probably felt like, oh man, this is a dire situation, and I'm gonna pull the trigger and at least see if this infusion of money of funds can help this program recover. But whew, it's a somber moment right now for us as viewers, listeners, and followers of the program. It's just a lot of work needs to be done, and I don't even know how you being Carlo or the marketing team, how do you even market this? You know what I mean, AB? How do you market this to the and you being a marketing person, a marketing specialist, how do you even market this to your fan base, to your consumers?
You can't. And that's the sad part about it. Like, we're talking about another rebuilding year. How many times are you going to tell the fans it's a team of rebuild? Be the fourth side. It's a team of rebuild. Give them a shot. How many times are you going to tell them? Because the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we're doing. There's no way around it. I mean, you can't market this. We've got, the bigger thing is I think people are noticing, like, What is it that is causing so many people to leave our program? And like John just said, until we win, nothing else matters. How can you win when you're constantly having to turn over a team? I mean, we have what, 40 some guys leaving at this point?
No, I think what was it 46
Yeah,
players,
46
somewhere
players.
somewhere on that realm.
We even lowballing it and saying 40 players. Like, you have 40 players leaving at this point. How do you market it to fans? How do you market to how do you market this program to people in the portal? Like, I don't know how they're doing it. I'm gonna be completely honest. I don't know how we got the quarterbacks that we did, because unless it was the NIL money, because at the end of
Oh,
the
I
day,
think it was FAI
it
money,
had to be.
but also there was a connection. Chandler Morris and Chad Morris is his father, who coached at Clemson with Tony, so he's known Chandler since he was a child. So that's always been probably a connection that they've kind of kept close with each other. And his dad actually is the receivers coach from where he came from. So Chad Morris and Tony still close. They're assistant coaches on Dabo's staff.
So that
James
makes
has a huh? What was that, AB?
that makes sense. So
Yeah.
we just didn't pull this random amazing stunt to get this guy. There's a connection there. So that kind of makes it a little bit null and void, because he didn't have to really.
No, I think no, AB. He had to do that because Oklahoma and some other schools that are set up way better than us. I don't think he did Tony a favor to come play for him.
No, I mean, there's
Yeah,
got to be NIL money, but at
I
the end of
think
the day,
I think he wanted. I think he wanted the opportunity. Number one, to start, which he'll have the opportunity to start. He's not coming here to compete for a job. He's going to
right.
come here to start. So there is an opportunity here for him, and I don't think that And I don't have the list, but some real good D1 programs, traditional D1 programs with a lot of pageantry and a lot of other stuff that we don't have, that recruited him, that he could have went to, that are set up way better than us. So I don't think he came because it was just doing Tony a favor. It had to be a lot in it for him to make that decision. So I can't discount him for that. James actually says something pretty cool here. He says, if you look at Indiana, Boise State, and SMU, one could say that they have used the NFL money to make themselves relevant. So it is possible. Okay. Want to add to that, Chad?
Well, if you look at Indiana, they took a lot of transfers from JMU. They took a lot of talent with them as a coach. He's a coach of the year. I won't take anything away from him. And in SMU, you're in Dallas, Texas, and you got plenty of money. So that, to his point, yeah, I mean, you can make it happen. But when you're looking at UVA and our standards, like we mentioned transfers earlier, it's kind of hard to get in-season transfers due to the credit issue. And then you got, Mike London used to kill the 757. He would recruit, but
Mm-hmm.
had some on-field issues. But yeah. Do I think we can get those guys? Yeah, but is it going to be a quick turnaround? No. And do I think this is the coaching staff to do it? Absolutely not. Yes, of course, money always helps. Who would argue that the money is a bad thing? No one.
Well,
But
let's do a rinse in all this right quick. We're talking about 757, and we're talking about Virginia recruiting, right?
Mm-hmm.
Michael Vick going to Norfolk State will kill getting transfers in the state of Virginia.
I don't know.
It will, because
I don't know.
if somebody has a chance to play for Michael Vick
I don't know, AB. I'm
at
down
Norfolk
here.
State,
I'm telling you, I don't know about that.
yeah,
This is what
and
this
you're
is what
down
I'll
there, and
say.
everybody doesn't want to come to UVA.
Well, I'm not talking about UVA, but I don't know. All right, this is the thing. This is what I will say. This area, we had 3 state champions come out of here this past weekend out of the 757. Oscar Smith out of Chesapeake, out of Hampton. You have Phoebus, who they're 4 years in a row now, and we had Maury out of Norfolk, and then we had another team that lost a week before that, so they were in the semifinals. So we have pretty much 4 teams almost three state champions, and a fourth one almost got to the state championship game. So there's a ton of talent. Somebody just has to really sit down here, set up an office, and recruit this area. And I can tell you, even 3 stars out of the 757 are difference makers. I'm telling them that now. I've seen it. All the 4 and 5 stars going to a lot of these big schools. Sure, you want to try to pull some of those kids. Even Virginia Tech's having some issues pulling those 4 and 5 stars off of those teams because all the kids are going to the bigger schools. And there's a lot of them. It's a lot of them. They're just going. But yeah, having that much success out of 757 within the state is outrageous. And there needs to be somebody who lives down here, who is constantly hitting up all the schools, and they need to go. They need to go every day. They need to go to a different school in 757 and just speak to the coaches, check on the programs, because that's the only way to really to dig yourself out of a lot of these holes and these issues they have without paying a gang of money for out of state kids that have a lot of talent. Ethan saying, he said, I go play for Vic in a heartbeat. Okay, yeah, but this is what I'll say. Mike hasn't really coached like that though. That's the thing.
But does that really matter to a high school kid? A high school kid
No,
who looked up to
Dion,
Michael Vick.
right? But Dion has coached though. The Dion thing. Dion has coached Pee Wee football all the way. He's been coaching his sons since they could walk. All the way through Pee Wee, all the way through high school to college. Now, he's worked his way up. So it wasn't like Dion wasn't coaching. I haven't seen Mike coaching out here like that. Now he has camps and he does well with the camps, but the whole thing with him coaching Norfolk State, I guess players are gonna try to come there, and I don't know if he's gonna kill it.
I think he's gonna do fantastic because it's more than just that. It's more than just it being Michael Vick. It's Michael Vick going to an in-state school like Norfolk State that's also an HBCU, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's the respectable level that they're playing on that these high school athletes are going to want to play for. Why go to a UVA when they can go to a school that is like Norfolk State?
They may do well in the MEAC based off of just trying to get talent there. No, you're right. With that point, yes, go in the MEAC. He may possibly do really well with just getting a lot of the 3-star kids, and every now and then you get the 4-star kid to commit there. But yeah, backfilling the roster. But the thing about it, Norfolk State, this is it. His coaching staff, they don't have any money. They don't have a lot of money. Just like a lot of HBCUs, trying to fill the whole staff out. Dion gave a lot of his money back to the school. I don't even think Dion really took a check at Jackson State, just because they're broke. And Norfolk State, kind of in the same boat, so to speak, with, having to pay, and I'm not saying just pay any assistant. When you're someone with his status, you want to get coaches around him. He doesn't strike me as an X and O coach. He's more of the charisma and more of the notoriety and all the, hoopla of who the man is. He needs some really good X's and O's guys. He says maybe he'll find a Travis Hunter or two. Yeah, maybe so. But Travis Hunter is one of those guys who from James Watson. Travis Hunter's, those guys don't comes in ones or twos though. I don't know. We'll see another Travis Hunter for a long time to come around. But I don't know. What do you think about the Michael Vick situation at Norfolk State. And that's another thing. UVA hasn't had their Michael Vick. Virginia Tech, when Michael Vick came through there, I always call it the Vick effect. When Michael Vick went to Virginia Tech, he changed the program forever. To this day, people still remember him going there and being electric. We haven't had that, at our program where someone was so popular that an entire state wanted to run to the college and play for it after the man had already graduated. We haven't had our Michael Vick player yet, and that's another thing. We just haven't had it. But go ahead, Wood.
No, I think Vic's going to do well, like she said. But like you said, 3 stars and maybe occasional 4. I think that's what Virginia's doing. The only thing different now is we got a little money, but
Yeah,
if you don't improve the transfer criteria with the losing credits, I mean, I don't see how we are any different than them. Really, we're
oh
getting
no, Norfolk State will get flooded with a lot of players. I'm not going to say I'm borderline, but they'll get flooded with a lot of players who can get past, who will get through admissions and be ready to play. The difference is the money. Will
yeah,
they
no
have the
doubt. Now we
funds?
had the money, but if you can't get the kids into school, what does the money really matter? Is my
That's
point.
true indeed.
No, I
That
think
is
Vic will
true
do
indeed.
well. I think just his name alone, people want to play for him just because he's Michael
Mm-hmm.
Vick. But like you said, we had Peter Lawlick, so he really changed everything. So
Well, like I said, we we definitely haven't had that,
no,
that
not at
situation
all.
come.
And I don't know if we ever will. We had Matt Shaw, but
No,
nowhere near Vic's level.
right. Somebody who just changed the culture and electrified the fan base. People were, and then wound up being the number 1 pick in the draft. After taking the team to the championship game.
But this is just a stepping stone for him. He's gonna do well this year, and he'll probably take a bigger job next year or year after next.
He's gonna have to. Yeah, he's gonna have to, based off what
But
he is. I think he just needs to get, really well with his X's and O's if he's gonna do that.
Hire him at the University of Virginia.
so here's going to be my standpoint. I've seen this because I've been close to so many people, and I've seen the stuff that people say. But how do we know UVA hasn't had that player? Because number one, we really had a coaching staff that's been able to develop a player and build a team around them. On top of that, our fans spend more time crucifying players. Chad, love you to death, but Anthony Colandrea could have been a huge impact on this team long term, but we spent more time crucifying him for his mistakes instead of looking at the overall picture of the issue with this team. We don't know how well he could have been. And now we've spent the whole season crucifying the kid, asking to have him benched. Now he's gone. We'll never know what his potential is, but some other team might. Some other team is going to embrace him because we didn't.
I think it was 50-50. I think he had a lot of followers, AB, like yourself.
No, the
He had a lot of
Facebook
followers,
went
AB.
all.
There, he had a lot of followers. He did. He had a lot of followers, and he had just as many folks like Chad who were non-believers. But there was a lot of folks who love Anthony Colandrea.
But never mind.
They now don't get me wrong. They dog Musket too. They dog Musket when Musket was having some issues a little bit there. But Colandrea has to have a fan base. They a lot of teams. I mean, on the team, I don't know about the players on the team, but from the fan standpoint, he had a fan base. Now where we go from here with these new guys, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. I'm at a loss for words right now because I'm at a standstill with where we are and where we think we want to, where we know kind of where we have an idea where we want to go, but I don't know. This is the football got so deep we didn't even get into basketball tonight. Let's just give it another week, guys, and maybe we can get on here before Christmas. Christmas is Wednesday, so maybe we'll get on here if you guys want to, a Monday or a Tuesday before, and kind of see how it all shakes out, because this is definitely a tough subject, man, and I don't see any relief, like big relief. I mean, it did make me feel good to get a quarterback that had to put up a lot of good numbers at North Texas, but also a lot of folks had wanted him that were highly touted teams as well. But I'm at a loss for words, man. What would you like to say in closing, Wood?
No, I mean, like I said, a lot of moving pieces. We'll see what we have, but we didn't really change a whole lot of things, if anything. So when you change nothing, nothing changes, in my opinion. But we'll see what we have here. The portal's still open. Hopefully Cam Robinson sticks around, but we definitely lost a lot. We definitely have to hit the portal, and hopefully we get somewhat of our team back. But got a decent quarterback from what I read. But again, it doesn't matter who your quarterback is if you can't protect him. So we'll see. I'm like you. I'm kind of at a loss for words. We'll see how it goes here in the next month, and then we could have another conversation.
Mm-hmm. Let me come to UAB in closing. What would you like to say based off of the things we've talked about?
I just hope that as a fan base we can embrace the players we have and support them, and support that we have a coaching staff that can build a team around them. And if they can't, then their energy needs to be focused towards the coaching staff instead of the players on the field. Because believe it or not, the players see our comments. The players and their families both see our
Mm-hmm.
comments. So if we want this team to be successful, then we need to back these players, and we need to stop, trashing them online. As you can be unhappy with their performance, but at some point in time, as a fan, you have to embrace who we have and give them some. I mean, they're young kids. Like, we've got to find a way to support them. And then the last thing is, Ethan, read some articles before you comment, buddy. Bud Foster's only back for one game to help the bowl game, and that's it. He's not back at Virginia Tech for good, thank God.
Yeah. Well, great statements, closing statements by the both of you. Yeah, my closing statement is I'm trying to speak with some of my media sources, some of my outlets, some of my folks. I will be on the grounds within a week here, going to some of the basketball games, but still also speaking with some of my other football colleagues as well, and see what I can dig up, because I just got a few messages from some of my media folks, and they're like, outside of Malachi, I ain't heard nothing. I'm asking for big bodies. I say, hey, you got any linemen coming up? Anybody heard anything? Any buzz? Any buzz about any other players? They said nothing right now. And these are highly connected, tuned in folks that really have a pulse um, of what's happening with the UVA football. So let's give it a week or two. Let's give it the holidays. Let's see where we are. Let's see who commits to the program. We may be in a better situation or a better mood in a couple weeks, but we may get on tomorrow, and I'll contact you guys. But we got to thank all of you for hanging out with us and sticking with us on a tough period. We didn't get to the basketball program, which they're going through a tough period right now as well, and that'll be another conversation down the road. But let's see what our football program is going to do, because I think we're really in crisis mode right now. That's what it is, right, guys? We're in crisis mode. We're just trying to stop the bleeding, and trying to put a tourniquet on everything, and trying to regroup, trying to rebuild. But we got to thank all of you for hanging out and spending time with us. We will be back next week, but thank you for everything, and give to foster kids of the state of Virginia. Whatever you have a foster kid program. I was Santa this weekend. It was awesome. This is the holiday season. If you can give, man. These kids need it. It was an amazing opportunity to bring some smiles, being Santa Claus, to their faces, and Like I said, this is the time of year for it. But we got thank you guys for hanging out with us. But as of now, the shop is closed. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. And let's just see how our programs work, man. Bye-bye.